Every business needs a differentiator. Without one, you end up competing on price, and that's not a fun game to play. Instead, tell people why they should choose you over anyone else. You have 3 options: first, best, or different. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about first. You definitely don't have to be the first, but it has its advantages. I was just recently in Florida, and while we were there, we did an airboat tour in the Everglades, which if you get a chance, definitely do it. It's a ton of fun. But while we were cruising around checking out all the gators, our tour guide said something that bit me harder than any one of those gators could. He said, "I am the 5th generation of tour guides in the Everglades area. I've been doing this forever." In other words, his family is some of the first people to recognize an opportunity to make money by doing alligator tours. Crazy and amazing. But here's the good news. Being first isn't reserved just for those with a long line of family history. You can actually do the same thing in your own business. For example, as I actually just started working with a new client and I'm helping her with her marketing and branding, where she's bringing a new technology to the Austin, Texas area. I can't yet talk about it because it's obviously a new technology, but she is the first one to be bringing this technology to town, which will give her advantage over any competition because right now there is no competition. Here are a few other ways that you can be first for yourself. 1, you can be the first in your area for some sort of product or service. You can be the first treatment technique. You can be the first with a particular technology. You can be the first with a unique program or package. First to the market often means the first in the minds of your clients and customers. And so if you can be first, definitely leverage that. If you can't be the first, your next option is to be the best. And this is definitely something everybody can do. It just takes a lot more work. One of my favorite things to do while traveling is to check out the local health scene, partly because I'm a total bro and like to get a good pump, but also because I like to see how other health businesses are running their business. While searching around Marco Island where I was staying to find a good place to get a lift, I found a place called Excel Fitness. It was close to where I was staying, it had good reviews, and here's what it said on their website. They said, "Our objective has always been to deliver the cleanest atmosphere with the best customer service, cutting edge equipment, certified personal trainers, and expert physical therapists, all in a modern spa setting." So I'll be honest, this copywriting is very cheesy, and I would probably tell them to rewrite it, but really at the end of the day is it has the best written all over it, especially with them really hitting on the home of being a clean place. I don't know if Marco Island is known for having dirty gyms, but I'm sure there was some reason for really to harp on the fact that it is a clean gym. But they are, in my opinion, obviously the best gym for having a clean gym in the local area. And I'll be honest, it was actually a very nice, clean gym. But here's how you can apply being the best in your own business. Number 1, gather testimonials and reviews. Obviously, that shows proof that you are potentially the best because you have all these amazing 5-star reviews. Number 2 is to up-level your skills and knowledge of whatever your product or service or practice techniques are. Obviously, if you're the best at a specific technique, that can help you stand above your competitors. Number 3 is to create a superior client experience from some of your competition. And number 4 is to strive for excellence in areas that most people wouldn't expect, whether that's onboarding, offboarding, something in between, but just finding those areas within your business where there are opportunities to shine above and beyond from other people. Kind of like this Excel Fitness place. Clean isn't something I hear a lot of gyms talking about, so maybe that's their differentiator because I've actually been to a lot of dirty gyms, especially here in Austin. So clean maybe would be a nice surprise, especially for that demographic. Now that I'm thinking about it, they do have an older demographic, probably people above 50 or 60s because we're in Florida, kind of the stairway to heaven. Haha, joke. But if that is their clientele, it's probably likely that they want a clean environment just because I think maybe older people like cleaner environments, not so grungy. So there's probably a reason for that decision. But the moral of the story is if you can be best in class in any category, you're going to rise above your competition. All right, the third way to differentiate yourself is to literally just be different. I saved the best for last. So if you want to be the first and you want to be the best, the easiest way to do this is to just be different. So like I said, we were in Florida and we were not that far from Naples. So we decided to take a little day trip to the little town where they had a bunch of restaurants. And as we were walking down the strip, I noticed that almost every single restaurant on the strip was like fancy fine dining or Italian, neither of which I'm that big of a fan of. And so I did find one spot that it was called Thai Sushi downtown, actually I think was the name. And it was at the very end of the strip. And I'll be honest, when we first walked into this place, it looked a bit like a hole in the wall. And we even actually came through the back door, so there was nobody sitting around. And it was a little odd. And my friend at the time looked over at me and he said, if the front of the place looks like the back of the place, we should probably go to somewhere else. In which I responded, trust me, because I looked online at the Google reviews and they had really great reviews. When we eventually got in there, though, it was actually a fairly nice restaurant and they had this little fish aquarium dealio. And I can tell you, without question, this was the best poke bowl I've ever had in my life. Prior to this, this, the previous best poke bowl was actually when I was out in Seattle. Whenever I'm on the coast, I'm always looking for good seafood. And I've had a number of good poke bowls and seafood in general. But here's my point. Being different is a powerful way to stand out in a sea of similarity. They didn't have to compete with all the other fine dining and Italian restaurants that were along the strip because they were really the only ones serving that type of food in that entire area. What made them different was actually precisely what drew us in and decided to get food there. And here's how to apply this in your own business. Number one is to offer something unique, something different that nobody else is doing. Number two is to craft a compelling brand story. As we know, stories are very, very powerful. Number three is to develop a distinctive brand identity, which is a little bit different than a brand story. This is some of your colors, your logos, your imaging, and ultimately the feel of your business. And number four is to embrace your unique strengths and passions. If there's something that you love or you're really good at, lean into those things and other people will be attracted to that as well. Ultimately, dare to be different, and I promise you, you won't regret it. And as a final recap of how to differentiate yourself in a crowded market is to number one, be the first. Number two, be the best. And if you can, ultimately, number three, just be different. Hope this was helpful, guys. All right, peace.